As you will see, there are 6 individual standards. These are effective early intervention. This discusses what should happen when you are told that your child is deaf and sets out what should happen next.
निकालोगे नहीं. ले, ये देखो, ये देखो, ये देखो, ये. Oh. Nice.
It's been quite a long journey. I mean, initially when we found out, it wasn't shock, it was denial.
Right.
We just couldn't. It's because my other daughter, Romaisa, when she went through the test, the hearing test, she'd failed twice, and we were told it was because it was mucus and wherever in the ear, and at the time, we thought, right, no, it's the same with her as well. As she went through the further tests, the audiologist suggested to us that there might be something wrong, and once again we were like, no, they can't be. But as the numbers came up and, you know, it began to sink in that no, there is something wrong here. I mean, if there was mucus behind the ear, at least we would get some sort of response, but there wasn't any. And it was at that stage, we were quite shocked, and then we began to think, you know, as any other parent would at that stage, we began to think long term. What would she do at school? What would she do, you know, as she got older? How would she communicate with the hearing world? So it's been a long journey.
The mouse says,
With his newborn screening that they do in the hospitals now, so if he went away, I think he was born at like 4 minutes past 1 in the morning. He went away maybe like 10 o'clock the next morning to get the newborn screening done, and it was came back, failed. He'd failed on both sides, his left and his right had failed. But we got told that it was just, that was normal, it could happen quite a lot. So he got taken away again the next day to get it done again, and it came back, he'd failed on his right but he'd passed on his left. Yeah. And then just from then we were at the hospital every, like I think we were there when he was 6 weeks, and then every few weeks after that, kept on getting tests done, and it wasn't until
18 months, was it?
Was it January last year, just about a year ago, yeah, about a year ago, that we went to the hospital and got the ABR done, and that was us finding, that was a shock to actually find out that he was profoundly deaf in his left and severe in his right, and that was the first I was really getting told properly that this is it.
But it's because we thought that his left was perfect.
Yeah, we thought severe. What was it? There was something, but we didn't never realise it was as bad as what it was.
Can we feed the baby? There. We were able to sort of get booklets and that, and spoke to about it and that, and you know.
Lovely.
It was the test they done, was it the day after she was born?
Yeah, first or second day when she was born, it came back as there was something wrong there with the test, because she wasn't responding to the tests that they'd done, and we had to
they redone them again a couple of days later just to make sure that the test that they'd done the first time was the same, and it came back, it was the same, and she's been tested several times after that.
They were more thorough with their tests, you know, went into right depth with it, and that's when came back that she was deaf in both ears. Profoundly deaf, yeah.
When you found out he was deaf, what were your feelings at that time?
Heartbroken.
I remember absolutely both crying at the hospital when we found out.
Totally gutted, because you think, and it's denial, total denial. No, he's not. No chance. We're getting another opinion. I wasn't blaming any of the team, but you look for blame. You do.
You don't look for blame.
You look for answers, and you're like.
Yeah, you just want to find somebody else that'll give you, tell you what you want to hear.
I immediately was like, I want another opinion. And I said to David, and he was like, if you wouldn't be human if you didn't want another opinion. So that's why we went down to Hertfordshire to get a second opinion, because I didn't want to just base everything on one opinion. So, and then once we went to Hertfordshire, it was like, well, now you deal with it. Whereas before you're like, no, it can't be, because you're in denial. And massive denial. I was in huge denial. She wasn't so bad as me, but I couldn't come to terms with it. But once you spoke to someone else, and then once you find out there's other avenues that you can go down to get him hearing.
I found out Tegan was deaf from birth. She came in tests. They went in depth. She's still profoundly deaf.
And what were your feelings around that time?
Feelings were alright because I've got family, I've been brought up with signing, having deaf people in my family. My dad was hearing. It was harder on Tegan's mum because she didn't know about signings. The only person you'd seen was my mum, family. She had to learn, already had it. Got my level 2 signing, I've done it my whole life. So I found it easier than most people.
Yeah.